Welcome to Module 6 of the training. This is the guidance for site coordinators. One of the most important roles as research coordinators will be working with and supporting the peer navigators. So there are a variety of things that you will be doing. So you will be providing support to prevent burnout, guidance and assistance with data collection, ongoing training, such as providing skills and problem solving. You will be a resource of information, and also just in general to be and provide guidance on issues and questions related to boundaries. One of your first tasks in supporting the peer mentors will be to assess the competencies after their training to make sure that they feel ready and are prepared to serve as peer navigators in this program. So I'm just going to go over a bunch of the different competencies. So the first one will be check-in post-training. So after the peers watch the training modules, you as coordinators will meet with your peers to first confirm that they watched all the modules. You will then have them complete the training assessment. This consists of 10 knowledge questions about hepatitis C in general and the study and program in particular, as well as 25 attitude questions around how confident and how ready they feel to serve in this role as a peer navigator. So you will review with the peers the incorrect responses and talk to them about any areas where they don't feel confident. Have them rewatch modules when necessary. The second competency demonstration will be a role-play check-in assessment. So coordinators give the peer navigators time to practice role-playing with each other at each stage of the study. So first, this will include a first check-in to introduce themselves as peer navigator and supporting their mentees with their hepatitis C diagnosis. Have them practice another check-in where the mentee has not yet started their hepatitis C treatment. Have them practice a check-in about adherence, so calling to understand how they've been experienced taking their medication, whether or not they've missed pills, and to brainstorm strategies to help improve adherence. And lastly, have them demonstrate one check-in after a participant has completed hepatitis C treatment to remind the mentee about practicing harm reduction. Encourage participants to use their peer manual for suggested talking points during the check-in structure and to answer any questions the participant might raise. As the coordinator, you will be observing their role play and you can use the fishbowl technique afterwards. So, ask the participant what went well or not so well. Ask the individual playing the participant the same question. As the research coordinator, you can share what you saw and say what went well and not so well, and discuss how we can improve. Here are some ways to assess their check-in structure. So first, did they follow the check-in structure? Did they listen to what the participant had to say? Did they offer relevant options? Are they sharing their own experiences? Are they using words and phrases that are supportive and non-judgmental or stigmatizing? And did they talk about harm reduction options? Make sure to highlight these areas that they did really well in and praise them, and also point out when they weren't following the check-in structure and give support for how they can better follow this check-in structure. Competency 3 will be watching the peers fill out the check-in sheet. So have peers complete a check-in sheet after their role play. Ask peers to explain the difference between pre and post initiation check-in sheets. In addition to assessing the peer navigator's competencies after training, another key role of ongoing support that you will be giving to peer mentors is through the monthly check-in activities, which I will be talking about in the next couple of slides. The four main objectives for these monthly check-ins are to assess peer mentors' successes and challenges with the check-ins or other procedures, to problem solve the challenges as a group, to refresh and practice skills, and to offer support and remind peer navigators about the importance of their own self-care. The very basic check-in structure for these monthly meetings can include first just a general greeting, getting a sense of their experiences so far. We will be showing you a roses and thorns activity, talking about that in the next slide, which is really just a way to talk through what's going well and not so well. We can talk about problem solving, role play practice of skills, and then your closing activities will be related to self-care. And we'll talk in depth about these items in the remaining slides. The Roses and Thorns activity is a way for participants to discuss what's going well and what's going not so well, and to share those experiences with each other. So have a flip chart or a whiteboard or take notes on Zoom, however you're meeting, so that you can write up both the roses and the thorns. Have the peers discuss what is common in both. For roses, offer praise and encouragement to keep doing the same. For thorns, identify the source or the source of the problems and challenges. Here are some common problems and potential solutions that peer navigators might face and talk about. Feel free to share this slide or create your own to customize it based on what you hear peer navigators talking about. So some common problems when it comes to picking the right time and place for the phone calls. So maybe the mentee consistently misses the call. So one solution to this could be to text a reminder to the peer mentee the day before. Or perhaps the peer mentor forgets or something comes up last minute. You can encourage the peer mentor to set an alarm or notification in the study phone. So perhaps one of the problems is that the mentee doesn't talk a lot or says things are just fine, not really wordy. One of the possible solutions is to list suggested open-ended questions for the mentor. If one of the issues is that the peer mentor is not sure what to suggest or the mentee is not willing to try options, encourage the peer mentor to use the frequently asked questions guide in the peer mentor manual, and then discuss not wanting to try options is okay and that there's that they can come up with a plan to revisit. So these are just some potential problems and potential solutions. After identifying problems and solutions, have the peers role play with each other or with yourself as the research coordinator the solution. Again, comment on what they did well. If needed, you can do a demonstration of the desired solution for the peer to observe. In the last part of these monthly check-ins relate to self-care. So it's important to remember that in order for peers to be able to care for their mentees, they also need to feel cared for themselves. And it's important to remember that peers may experience emotional stress from helping their mentees and then work stress in general. And we have encouraged peers to feel comfortable turning to you for support during their time in this program. And one of the ways that you can show that you support them is by talking about their self-care in these monthly check-ins. Here are some ways to support peers' mental health during monthly check-ins. First, it's so important to celebrate peers' successes. I know that they will be listing some of their own successes from their previous experience in the Rose and Thorns activity, so you can either take a few minutes to highlight those successes, or perhaps there are other successes that you have witnessed that they haven't thought of. It's really important to bring those to their attention. Also, ask peers to share a work experience recently that left them feeling stressed or frustrated. Encourage other peers to share if they've also experienced this and how they're handling it. This does a good job of helping to foster a sense of community between them and their other peer navigators. And lastly, ask peers how they practice self-care. Have peers share ideas with each other. This can include if they turn off their work phone at 6 p.m., going for a walk, or talking with family. Most importantly, remind peers that they are doing important work, that their contribution is valued, and that because of them, many people are improving their health and well-being. So make sure to thank the peers and also thank you, research coordinators, for also doing all of your hard work with this project as well.